いい感じじゃないの、匠くん。彼に何を期待しておられるのですか？期待って？特製の体を与えたり、加護を与えたり、何よりシドニア新興国の召喚魔法発動より1年も時を遡って送り込むなど、特に意味なんてないわよ。
Possibly the greatest alchemist of all time, and possibly the best episode of winter season 2025 so far. Now, in full transparency, I've only covered one other anime so far, so it's a small pool of competition that it has to compete with. But regardless, possibly the greatest alchemist, and I think I'm just going to call it greatest alchemist from now on going forward. It makes it easier. Long title, but not the longest. I'm just going to call it greatest alchemist. Greatest Alchemist episode 1 I thought was really, really good. And one of the things that I am a sucker for and I have a bias for. So I'm going to let you guys know that up front. So basically, you can basically say, oh, anything he says beyond this is all just doo-doo trash. Anytime it comes to an anime, especially isekai, where a god or goddess has made a mistake, and whether it's in a reincarnation or a summoning or a death, right? Like accidental death, accidental summoning, accidental reincarnation, whatever the case is, right? Like, oh, actually, Truck-kun wasn't meant for you. It was meant to kill that kid, but you jumped in front of the truck, so be it, kind of thing. In this case, it looks like there was 3 kids, well, 4 total. There was 3 kids and 1 old dude. They didn't really show us how the summoning was. We're gonna guess maybe they were on a subway or a train or a bus or something, or maybe they were just crossing path in the street or something, but essentially, there was 3 kids who were summoned, you know, kind of like high school age, and then an old dude, like a 40-year-old dude, and he was summoned by accident. The goddess basically explains to us that, this was done by accident. Sometimes the summoning stick, the little shakies that happen, the summoning, it accidentally picked you, but you weren't supposed to be summoned. So because of that, she feels bad and everything, and she ends up giving Takumi an option. She was like, oh, well, you don't want to be sent to where those kids were sent, because the kingdom's not, it needs saving, but it's not that good, and I want to do right by you because it was my bad. And she can't send him back, so she sends him to this village and gives him, the option of what kind of job he wants. He chooses alchemy because he doesn't want to be a fighter or a adventurer or like a warrior. He just wants to be like, I want to go live a chill life. You know what I mean? Like he's I'm 40. Like I'm trying to just go hang out. So he chooses alchemy, and I really like the way they did it because he reincarnates. Japan has an obsession with making kids around 16 to 17 years old. I guess that's when they imagine the good times. I think that's the age that they imagine. So they make him 17 years old. Not the age I would pick personally, but hey, that's the age that they choose for him. And he ends up saving some kid in a village, and the village welcomes him that he's reincarnated or resummoned to. And they build him a house, and he kind of integrates really well with this village, and finds out that just outside of alchemy, as he just kind of continues to do stuff in his new body and everything, that he actually unlocks skills from other, if he uses a sword, he'll probably unlock like a sword fighter. He uses blacksmithing here, so he now has like level 40 blacksmithing. He took down a boar. He has the warrior, the warrior class. Now he has the fighter class. So he's able to have resistances and potencies and different skills based on what he just naturally does. And it's kind of like an infinite chart that he gets to raise levels of, as you imagine, like that spider web of charts you have in video games. So it's really, really cool stuff. So I really liked it quite a bit. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was pretty cute. I thought it was pretty adorable. I like the little friends that he's made. I like that the show not only showed us the folks that were summoned to the right place and the right time, and it showed us that, they were actually summoned to this girl who summoned them for whatever reason. And she's kind of giving off like villainy vibes. And one of the girls who was summoned is like, I need to watch out for that lady, And I like that quite a bit. And the other thing I really like is kind of towards the end of the episode, the goddesses are speaking, and one of the goddesses was asking the goddess that summoned Takumi, like, oh, what are you looking for from this dude, exactly? And she's like, nothing, I just, I gave him some stuff. And she's like, well, you gave him a really good body and you summoned him a year prior to the actual heroes being summoned. So he's summoned a year in the past versus what the actual people who should have been summoned are summoned as. So he has like a whole 12 months now to integrate, make something of himself, and at that same time lead up to the actual summoning. And she's like, we'll see, So who knows if she truly has a plan for him, or she's just kind of hoping that he shakes things up a little bit, or that he becomes like a viable pillar for this world, you should say. Especially since he's now allowed to branch out outside of just his wheelhouse of alchemy. He can do healing and he has magic and, it's infinite possibilities, right? He's like the infinite mage at this point. So I thought that was a really cool thing too, to see on how much the goddess will be touching his life kind of throughout his journey. And then the show also showed us his potential future harem. Not only did they show us that in the ED, but then they showed us that kind of like towards the tail end of the episode, they showed us some red-haired girl. I think it was like some red-haired girl and a elf girl who's like, she's like some kind of like seer. So I thought that was really cool too, that, okay, we're going to see him come across these two girls and then not including some other beast girl and potentially even him coming across the girl who was summoned later on down the line, which I thought was really cool too. And then the very last thing is he also got a taming ability. So he was able to tame a spider. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was a really cool thing too. And it looks like the spider is going to be a big proponent or a big like character within this show, which I really love as well too. So overall, I thought this was an adorable episode. I would say it's like an 8 out of 10. I was thoroughly entertained. I was engaged. I like how the story is played out. I like how it's not moving. It's quickly paced, but it's not moving too fast to where I'm like, oh, I feel like they missed a bunch of stuff. I feel like it's just like, oh, he gets to the world, he saves a girl, he gets kind of rewarded for it. I feel like it's moving at a decent pace, but not too quickly to kind of lose me or be like, oh, well, what happened to those last 6 months or whatever. So some shows that are of this nature tend to kind of do that. They skip a lot of stuff, or like, the person who created just didn't want to, write that stuff. So it was like, time skip, so I like the pacing so far too. So best new anime so far of the 2025 season. Of course, the competition is slim because I've only really seen one other anime so far this season. And there only may have been like 2 so far that have launched. Maybe this is the second one. I don't know. But overall, anyways, Greatest Alchemist, fantastic. Can't wait to watch more. Come back next week for episode 2 as we continue reviewing this. This will be one of the ones we review on the channel. And I'm glad too, because it made a good first impression. All right, my friends, I'll see you guys next week for episode number 2. Happy New Year's. See you then. Peace.